Hi Mozzers. All right, what we're going to talk about today is the structured social sharing formula, and I'm going to go over 10 best practices for rocking your SEO with a markup and how this is going to affect Google Plus and Facebook. So I'm going to run through these and then we'll delve down a little bit. So on your first of your 5 items that you would cover are actually going to do with meta tags that are Open Graph Protocol. And we have the title tag and the description and the OG image and the type of the website and the URL. And actually in 4 of these are required. The title is one of the first required items, and we're going to break down that in a moment. The meta description is not required, and the image is going to actually become your thumbnail image. The type has to do with your website type, and that's going to actually be default. If you don't put anything in there, they're going to assume that it's a type value. The other values that you can look at are author, profile, book, video, and you can look more on ogp.me if you want to look up more about types. And on your URL, that's your canonical URL, so it's your permalink, so that's pretty easy. And then we're going to go over your UTM variables so that you can track your campaigns, and that way you're going to make sure that you're getting your social referral data. And we'll talk about your share blurb that goes on Facebook and Google+, and hashtags. We're going to delve into a little bit on best practices. We can't do a demo on here, but at least you'll get an idea of what to do and what not to do. And moving into the best practices for Twitter, and then best of all on how to document and track this, and I'm going to save that for last. So in looking at that, let's break this down. So if you look over here, we have the anatomy of a share snippet. And so you've got this, the elements on Facebook and Google Plus are the same. You have your avatar, and then you have your name. And now you actually have, so it starts out with your share blurb about the post. And then as you move into this, you're looking at actually, okay, here's your title tag, which is actually controlled right here by the OG title. And that actually becomes an anchor link to your page, then to your URL. So keep in mind those two are related. And then your description. This could be your meta description from your page. You may want to copy it, but you're not limited to the same amount of space. So you have about 188 characters or less before Google Plus will cut that off. Interestingly, I've seen last week that about 453 characters on a description. So I don't know if Google's testing things or if I'm part of that test group, but keep it around 188 and less. Talking about length on the title tag, that's actually, I saw 134. I can't imagine 134 titles. So just follow best practices for title. I go to about 80. And then, all right, so now we are at our image. So your OG image, and you want that to be square. You want it to be 150 by 150 is optimal. The minimum is 120 by 120, and this is very important because if you do not put in the proper image, you can actually put in the code. You could put this OG image directive in the code. Facebook will honor it. And let's say the image is too small and it's not 150 by 150, maybe 110 by 110. Then it'll show up on Facebook and you'll have an image, but Google Plus either won't put anything or they're going to draw another image to the page. And if you have ads on your page, you may end up with an ad showing there instead. So this is where you can really rock your engagement because images are everything and people are looking at them. So that's important to get that right and remember how they're working. One other thing I want to keep in mind in this is we're using Open Graph here and not schema.org. And with, why use 2 tags? So we're just doing this all in one. This is an all-in-one formula to do it all at one time. All right, so now let's talk, we're done with the 5 meta tags that are going to go in the head. And so let's talk actually about your UTM variables. And your UTM variables are actually going to start with, you have your URL, and you're going to start with your source. And so in this case, we're sharing it on Google+. And then you're actually going to use your medium. So how are you doing it? In medium here, we're sharing it on social, so that's the medium. You're looking at your campaign. This is a Whiteboard Friday. So by doing this, you have, voila, your social referral data. And you keep in mind, this is really important because you don't get this unless, you're not going to see that something came from Twitter unless it actually came from the the web itself. TweetDeck doesn't send this information. So this way you can keep track and you can track all of your social shares. All right, let's talk a little bit. We talked about the share blurb, but I want to go into that a little bit more, because on this share blurb, so what you're actually putting in the what's on your mind or what's new box is, that's really important. Obviously it's important for people reading it, but when this actually becomes in Search Plus Your World for personalized search, that actually can become a SERP. So when that snippet is actually showing, guess what the title of it is? It's your blurb. So you may want to think SEO, you may want to front load keywords. So think about this. This isn't just a blurb, there's actually some SEO benefit on personalized search. And let's talk a little bit more about hashtags. As you're entering in your description, you can type in your description and type in the # on Google Plus, and you're going to see an autocomplete. So this is SEO, you're typing in # and you can see a list of related S. Start over, # SE, and you're going to see SEO. But what's cool with this, a little pro tip, you're going to see what the latest trends are, is what people are showing. So if you want to show up within those trends, you can use the hashtags. 2 more things on hashtags. Facebook, just don't do it. Facebook is not Twitter. And on Twitter, you could use TagDef is one that has autocomplete. There's Twubs. You can check out hashtags.org. All right, so let's move back and talk a little bit more about Twitter. Moving on in our formula here. You want to make sure that your tweets are retweetable. But what you want to start with is you want to do your campaign variables first, then create your short URL. So you've got this, you're entering all this. It may be bit.ly or it may be a custom URL shortener. And then as you're creating that, you're going to want to create the title of your post, and then the bit.ly or the short URL, and your at profile, and your hashtag. That whole length should be about 140 minus 5 minus the length of your profile. So at that point, that gives you enough room so that you have space, and voila, you've got a retweetable tweet and you have your social referral data. Okay, last thing, document and track. I have a worksheet, and this is actually, we're doing a Whiteboard Friday as part of MozCon, and I will be speaking about this tomorrow on Friday. By the time you see this, it'll be after the fact. You'll be able to download a worksheet, and that'll be in the information below in the post, that you will actually, in that worksheet, be able to enter in. There'll be a field for each of these information. You'll put in your campaign variables. It will automatically create your URL for you. And all you have to do is cut and paste, so that when you cut and paste your information into Google and Facebook, all you have to do is you could paste in your URL, and what Google and Facebook will do is they will parse the page and they'll look for those directives, and you'll end up with a structured shared snippet. And I think that's about it for today, and thank you very much. It's been nice.